All right, we can get started here. So thank you everyone for joining today. My name is Dev Seidel. I'm the Director of Marketing at Fobi here, and I'll be your host today. I'm excited to welcome everyone to this live demo of the Fobi Investor Experience Pass. As some of you may know, we recently launched our newest Pass Pro product called Investor Pass. Investor Pass is a solution that helps publicly traded companies streamline and strengthen their investor relations and provides investors with all the latest information they need in one seamless experience. And that experience is located in the Wallet Pass. So Fobi has worked a lot with Wallet Passes, and this is another instance that we're now providing to investors. So what we'll be demoing today is Fobi's own version of the solution for our investors, and that's called the Investor Experience Pass. Leading the presentation today will be CEO Rob Anson and Tamer and Tim from Fobi's development team. This will be an interactive demo, so I encourage all of you to have your phones ready if you'd like to follow along. If not, this pass will also be able to be downloaded from our investor page and also our Pass Pro page as well too. So those links will be available for you to download this Investor Pass and experience all those great things that Fobi has to offer for investors. Before we move into the live demo, I'm going to pass it off to Fobi CTO Tamer to talk a little bit more about what is a Wallet Pass and why is this impactful. So I'm going to pass it off to you there, Tamer.
Thank you very much, Deb. Wallet passes have been around for a while, but it's only really in the last couple of years that we're starting to see them gaining broader acceptance and use as tools for everyday use. They were invented about 10 years ago by Apple as a mechanism of distributing things which you would have carried in your wallet, which is why they ended up being called wallet passes. So something that you can carry in your wallet, like a ticket of some sort or an ID card. The goal here was to turn that into a digital version which you carry around in your phone instead of carrying it in your wallet. Carrying something like a boarding pass, which was one of the first use cases for wallet passes, in your phone instead of in your wallet, has some huge advantages. The first one is it's much more secure. If I'm carrying a boarding pass on my phone, not in my pocket, it's locked in my phone. It means that my phone is holding that safely and securely for me. And if someone was to get a hold of my phone, they wouldn't be able to access that card. Whereas if I have it in my pocket and I drop it on the ground, someone picks it up, they now have that piece of information about me. Additionally, if I lose my phone, that data is not lost. I can go and get another phone. I can just go and buy another phone from Best Buy, log into my Apple or my Google account, and retrieve all of those wallet passes, all of those cards that I'm holding. So security and the ability to retrieve it if lost is a really big feature here. The second really big feature that you get with wallet passes compared to a physical medium that you're carrying in your pocket is the ability to update them. Again, the boarding pass is a really good example of this. If I have a boarding pass and it says that I board at 1:15 at gate B35 and my gate changes, I have to listen out for announcements or look on the boards to see where my new gate is. Whereas if I'm carrying that as a digital wallet pass on my phone, when that change happens, that can be updated in real time. I can be sent a push message on the right platform, we'll talk about that in a bit, to tell me that my gate's changed. And then when I look at my boarding card in my phone, on my phone's wallet, I will see that my new gate is, in fact, B42. These features of being able to update them in real time and being able to use them for communications, for outgoing communications, are the key features that we are leveraging in building out additional uses and expanding the use cases for wallet passes. With that having been said, I'm going to hand back over to Dev, and we'll explore this area further, and we'll probably come back to some of these topics in a bit.
Great. Thanks, Tamer. So Tim will now do a live demo. As you can see, there's a QR code on your screen, so you can follow that with your phone and follow along as well.
All right. Thanks, Dev. So as you guys can see, there's a QR code scannable here with your just your phone's camera. So feel free to scan that. I'm going to leave that up for a couple of minutes and just kind of touch on some background just to follow up with what Tamer has said and tied into this experience as well. So at its core, Fobi Investor Pass is a wallet pass, as Tamer has described, and we've built additional user engagement functionality with that. And we're going to explore what that looks like together through the form of a hub, as we like to call it. And so using the Fobi Investor Pass grants you a truly personal investor experience by leveraging the convergence of AI-driven data applications and the proprietary mobile wallet technology. And so ultimately what we're gaining here is, instead of actively seeking company news and updates from various sources, ultimately this allows us to bring the news straight to you using a unified engagement channel for all things Fobi. So I'm going to go ahead and cast my phone screen here, and I'll show you what the landing page looks like, which is where this QR code will have taken you. So here is our landing page. Just to get things started and to issue the pass, we're going to request some very basic information just to populate the pass and to help distribute it as well. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to fill in my first name, my last name as well, and then the phone number. This is how we're going to issue the pass, as well as an email. So once we have this information entered, we can go ahead and sign up. Now that's going to go into the back end and populate my pass for me. It's going to bring me to this page. And if I check my messages, I will then have received a text message where I can download the pass if I tap that link. Now that's going to bring me into a page here, which is going to give me a preview as to what the pass looks like. It's going to have my first name and last name as I entered it. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the top right-hand corner to add that into my mobile wallet. Now, once I've gone ahead and added that, I can pan over to the mobile wallet app and see the investor experience sitting here nicely. So if I tap into the top right-hand corner of this, on the three dots, that's going to take me towards the back of the pass, where we've linked out our website and the most exciting part here, the Fobi Investor Hub. Now, as we take a look at this and open that link up, this is what our investor experience looks like. We've organized it on the left here on the top with a burger menu style. And where I want to kind of direct our attention initially here is the investor survey at the bottom. So this is a really key feature that we've added, and sort of the idea behind this is to gain information and sort of help us tailor this experience to your needs and your interests. So we want to make sure that we're sending you information that's relevant to you, that caters to your sort of investment style and what you're sort of focused on. So as I go through this, I'm going to fill in my information and I'm going to go ahead and submit that. Now, you don't have to submit all the information here. You can submit whatever you're comfortable with. Really, this is just a way for us to help, tailor the experience to you and make sure that we're not sending you things that aren't relevant to you as an investor. So the first question here is, are you an accredited investor? I'll say yes. Which sectors am I interested in? So I can select a couple here from the drop-down menu. Additionally, what kind of investor am I? So I'll say long-term. Do I have an interest in learning about private placements? Now, this is really key as well. For example, if there's new and emerging tech companies that we think might be of interest based on, sectors that you provided, or, if you are interested in learning about private placements, then, we can notify you about those. We won't send you those notifications otherwise. Additionally, I can provide some insight into my portfolio size and my age as well. And so once I fill this out, I'm going to go ahead and submit that. Now that's going to go into the back end, and now my experience is going to be just a bit more personalized, and I'll be making sure that, I'll be essentially getting notifications that are a bit more tailored to my needs and my interests, and helping to, avoid things that maybe aren't of interest to me. So avoiding that sort of spam that you might have seen with other sort of subscription products related to investing. Now, as we go through this, I'm going to start from the top here. We're going to jump into our press releases. So this is essentially the way that we would access all of our press releases. They're updated to the second. So as soon as something goes out, this is where you're going to find it. It's basically displayed in this very easy to access sort of, scroll through method that we're familiar with seeing on social media. They're all organized chronographically as well. So once you tap on one of these, it's going to open up in a new tab, and you're going to be able to read more about it in much more detail. Additionally, if we go to our next tab, it is our blogs and podcasts. So once again, this is all going to be updated as soon as something releases. It's going to be here first. So we have our mobile web player here. Big thing to keep in mind is that you can also access all the previous podcasts as well. And as a nice little feature, you can continue to play this. So if you start playing this, you close your web browser or you close your lock screen, it will actually continue to play. So you'll be able to, listen to it if you're going for a run or you're in the car, or you're doing other activities. It's a nice feature. Additionally, we also have our blog post below here, same sort of scroll through method as we've seen with the press releases as well, organized chronographically as well. Additionally, we know that you guys are super active on message boards, so we've sort of consolidated all of those resources into one easy to access place. So that way it's easy, it's consolidated, and once again, you can just access, whichever one is most relevant to you, using this unified portal here as well. We've also highlighted our Agoracom resource. We believe this is a valuable resource to access as well, so we've highlighted that here. Additionally, Get It First is essentially another outlet that we will use. Essentially, it's going to kind of help us fill the cracks a little bit. So, maybe it's hard to reach information from press releases or blogs or any sort of surrounding information that, whatever's happening at Fobi. Additionally, we've also got our merch store here, which I'll jump into. So one highlight here is in our Shopify merch store, all of the proceeds are actually going to be going directly to our charity, which I'll go into next, which is KidSport. Now, KidSport is a BC-based organization that helps underprivileged youth to engage in extracurricular sporting activities and helping to remove the barriers. Now, Rob has been super active in this, as well as our COO, Gavin, as well. So this is something that we'd like to highlight and drive as much attention to as possible. All right, and so this is what it looks like from a user standpoint. Rob, do you want to touch on anything as well?
Perfect. Well, yeah, thanks for the quick overview. That's great. For us, this is about creating interoperability amongst investor interest and touch points. As Tim said, as a data-first company, we sell us as a way to create a mobile-first strategy for deployment of information, content, and engagement and interaction right direct to the palm of the phone and the users. So when we start to look at, exclusive content and access, as Tim was alluding to in Get It First, gives us that ability to create that connection, if you will, first to market, as we have a very passionate shareholder following. Of course, active on all of the other boards. We look to how do we create a unified experience, consolidating all of the different tabs and the different websites and browsers that are open throughout a day. As Tim alluded to, highlighting our interests, our calendars as to whether it's trade shows or EGMs or WebExes like this. This is just the beginning for us, as this thing will evolve tremendously over the next coming months here. It's a great appreciation for our tech team and marketing team for designing this user experience that can be pushed real time, direct to lock screen in the case of Apple and iOS application. Unfortunately, Android and Google are still catching up on that aspect. So those messages that we receive for Android users will come in form of SMS and text and email. It's a way for us to showcase the technology, and it's generated tremendous interest from the market as everyone is looking for attribution, data measurement, and analysis to spend to engagement and interaction, to, of course, investor acquisition costs. This was one of my main goals of this, was to get a better understanding as to how we're engaging and interacting with our followers. I have a great deal of time allocated towards shareholder questions and whatnot through various channels, how they reach out to me. We find that this will be a lot simpler approach to creating this unified application, consolidating all of these channels, giving better access to information that hopefully answers a lot of the redundant questions that we do receive, and gives us the ability to interact and engage with our investors on the appropriate channels. And as Tim said, as this grows and evolves, enabling us to understand the interests of other sectors. And as we find our evolving list of partners and verticals. We can then share relevant information for new IPO offerings, public issuers, and placements and whatnot. So it's pretty exciting for us to see just yet another example as to the mobile wallet technology and the capabilities of integrating our AI and data segmentation application solutions combined with the wallet pass is something that is not just extremely relevant with the whole digital transformation push, but for us, it's about blazing new trails, setting new standards, new expectations, and new levels of measurement for engagement and interaction, and most importantly, experience.
Perfect. So I think what we'll do now is I have some lists of topics that I think are interesting to cover in a few pieces surrounding the specific investor experience pass for Fobi, but also the product as well too that Fobi is providing to other publicly traded companies. So Rob, I think the first piece that we can touch on here is, yes, this is completely branded to Fobi, but what does the experience look like for another publicly traded company wanting to use this technology?
Well, the solution is 100% white labeled. So if you're public issuer X, you'll have all your branding. It's a way for us, one of the key things too I would point out here is there's a lot of companies that spend a great deal of money and resources on partnerships and other forums and platforms. This provides a means to not just to simply aggregate, but unify and connect all of these other disjointed platforms. So automating these solutions for the issuer is the big focus for sure. Providing continuity in brand messaging across all of the channels plays a big part of it as well. And I think one of the key things of interest that we've got a lot of it from is that powerful messaging direct to the issuer or to the investor, via the lock screen or email or SMS, finding the right channels where people can access information in the most timely manner. As it used examples of, we see on Twitter, volume alerts and closing details and stuff. It's the get it first, right direct to the lock screen, which is extremely powerful. So everything we do is fully customized, managed service, built on connecting in their existing infrastructure, which they put in place to provide that measurement and seamless user experience.
And can you speak to the scalability of this platform? So why do we see this platform as being more adopted over different other options that are out there for investors?
Well, the key here, there's a lot of channels where you can go to obtain information and punch away on keyboards as to different platforms like Reddit and Agoracom and StockFam and others. But like I said, for us, it's about the consolidation. Number one reason why we're seeing this next evolution of, let's call it the mobile application or replacement of, is driven by the wallet. It's the light version. Obviously, the user adoption is extremely high, but more importantly, it's very, very, very sticky. We're seeing retention rates in the high 90 percentile. And that's the way of the future. It's the next evolution of ID management and venue management and activation. And once again, this is just another form of applied data and activation, much like our CPG product offerings through Qples and PassCreator. But it's the scalability here that is truly unlimited potential. We're very proud to be driving is one of the world leaders in mobile wallet technology and applications and new innovation around design and activation such as these with Checkpoint and PassPro and all these other facets of the new innovation that our tech team has designed and taken to market with sales. I think it's truly the way of the future. Everything is tied to now our access, our ID, our credentials, our boarding passes, as Tamer alluded to. It becomes a very powerful customer acquisition tool that not just used here in case of investor land and investor relations, but right across every day-to-day business.
And you alluded to something there that I do want to touch on a little bit too, the wallet pass versus an app. But I just want to make it very clear that yes, this investor experience pass that we just demoed lives in the native wallet that's either on your Apple or Google phone. Or any other Android that supports the Google Wallet as well too. So this isn't something else that you're downloading on top of that. And the experience includes if there is additional publicly traded companies that are using Fobi's Investor Pass product, you can have more than one of those wallet passes in that wallet. So it's not a single wallet that you're downloading just for this pass. This is the wallet that you're using for everything that you already have on your mobile device. So leading from that, Rob, what really is that benefit of a wallet pass versus an app, and what are the differences there?
I think one of the key things is we're always very cognizant, in our business development meetings, is to respecting, I guess is the right word, existing IT infrastructure, as we call it, from a business perspective. And people, as I realized here, much like us, we aren't replacing all of our Agoracom and StockFam and proactive relationships with this. We're providing an interoperable gateway. That's one of the key things. There's been millions and millions of dollars invested into mobile applications over the last 15, 20 years. We can argue whether they're going to, disappear or not. That's another conversation. But if you think of the Wallet Pass, it provides that gateway to in-app experiences as well. It's very complementary, if you will, when you look at that app experience and providing other web solutions that we can connect to. Tying all the social assets is a nice addition as well. Is we see this as a complete unification and gateway to creating and connecting this personalized experience that everyone desires and has talked about for years. And once again, it's our ability as a data first company to fuel these decisions and experiences by aggregating and actioning these data points in real time. I see the continued evolution and adoption to payment, gender and demographic specific for sure in certain areas. But there's one thing that's consistent, is that in every smartphone that comes to market from today forward, the Apple and Google Wallet, it will be built in, so that customer acquisition, elimination of friction is already key out of the gate. And once again, as I stated earlier, the retention element of it is so key. And I think from my perspective is, CEO public issuer here, of course, is providing the information, in a timely manner to the best of our abilities, providing transparency and access to new experiences. And we're always pushing new boundaries as to how far we can enhance the experience for our customers, and in this case, our investors. That's what we're about, is driving that new innovation towards continuity from old to new of digital transformation.
And you touched on a little bit before of why Fobi sees the value of this product to investors and the reason why we created it for our investors, but kind of what is really, how do you intend to sell this to other public issuers? What are those main pain points that we're solving? We touched on them kind of at a more broader aspect there, but kind of what is the thing that other companies are getting excited about?
Well, everyone understands that it's mobile first. I would argue is there isn't a lot of, how do we put this? A lot of validation or measurement from an IR perspective. It's very hard to quantify or validate spend or engagement. I mean, of course, you can go by the standards, number of click rates or number of views, but what did that really mean? Who are? I think one of the key things, Devin, is to answer the user's question there is, I think for the first time, we're converting unknown investors to known. This access to the information of not just the questionnaire, but us being able to push other relevant information to glean more info and data to provide that more personalized and elevated experience that's curtailed to the individual user is going to become very, very, very powerful for many reasons, of course, from a user perspective and an issuer perspective. Understanding the accredited investors becomes very powerful. The key components, as I mentioned earlier, is evolved partnerships for us. Just provides that next level of connectivity between investment interests. It's something that I get all the time. We have multiple investors that have invested into our other partners that we're involved with, and vice versa. I get those quite a bit. So I think as we look at it, the mobile first, data first, measurement and attribution element to it, being cognizant of fiscal and finances and budgets. And at the end of the day, it gives us the ability to provide agility to marketing and our teams around shifting and tweaking and adjusting things on the fly, because simply we have now a tool that provides the measurement. And once again, the Wallet Pass provides an interoperable gateway that connects and enhancing existing platforms and infrastructure to real-time applications. And whatever those are is really up to the issuer. This is a brand new product that can go in many which ways to Sunday for sure, as we've seen here over the last year of our deployments, various products, and we're very excited to see where it ends up.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that is the most exciting part of it, is seeing what these different companies want to do with their Wallet Pass, be it one of the other solutions that we've presented before or the Investor Pass today, really understanding how they want to engage with their partners, what they're currently doing, and tying all that together and providing them, like you said, that unified platform. We just have a few minutes left here. Just like to open it up the floor to you, Rob. Is there any kind of final words that you have at the end of this demo and presentation?
Oh, we're excited about it. We're looking forward to various feedbacks. One of the key things, as I said, there is a bit of a division, if you will, between Apple and iOS and the Google Android experience right now, and that is the access to the lock screen, us being able to push directly to the phone, which once again, to me, it's kind of like the old, dating myself, but you've got mail notifications. Back in the day, you wake up in the morning, you turn your phone on, and you've got that instant notification that Fobi's press release out tomorrow, and here's what we're doing. It's the reminders as to various channels for us, from even warrants to exercising and all different gateways of communication. So we're very excited to see the feedback, continue to build this with our shareholders, and evolve the products with our other issuers that we're bringing on board.